I'm going to show you how to connect a railing between two posts on a staircase. So this process of putting a rail between two posts on a staircase is complex enough that I thought I would do a separate video on it. We're also going to show you how you can use an angled rail bolt. And the angled rail bolt is specific for where the railing on a staircase meets the post at the bottom of the stairs. So we ran into some complications which will be kind of interesting for you to see, and you can decide whether you want to go that route or not. But regardless of how you do this railing, there's quite a few steps that I'm going to give you that are going to make it a little more bomb-proof. All right, so we've already cut this angle at 38.75 degrees as our first initial cut, and we've determined that angle using our calculator and the method I have on my video on stair math. Now we've got the railing situated on the rake of the stairs, or it's resting on the nosings. We've got a piece of masking tape here so we can mark the other cut on the bottom of the post. I would say that if you haven't watched my video on balustrade layout, that would be very helpful for you to do right now, because it'll help you understand the rake of the stairs and also how to position the railing on your post so that it's parallel with the rake of the stairs. I'll leave a link here for that video. So before I make this cut here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut at 90 degrees, leaving myself about 1/8 of an inch to play with here, because I have to drill a pilot hole in the bottom of this railing for the angled rail bolt to work. And it's really difficult to do if you cut this first and then try and drill a hole on that cut on an angle. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 15/16 down from the bottom of the. Now, one of the things you'll notice I do is I mark from both sides. And the reason I do that is that it doesn't matter what I set my ruler at, as long as it's fairly close, I know that my hole needs to be between these two lines. So whether this is set at 13/16 or whatever, it doesn't matter. Either way, make two lines, and I'm going to put my index hole with my spring-loaded center punch in between these two lines. All right, so now that I've got this pilot hole cut and the 3/8 hole cut, I use the pilot hole just to guide this 3/8 hole. Now I'm going to make this cut. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a cut parallel with my line and make sure my angle's set right. I've got it roughly 38.75, and just see if that pencil line is close enough. So I would say I'm happy enough with that. If anything, I will leave this pencil line on so we have something to work with in case that angle's not fitting quite right. Better to be too long than too short, obviously. So I've cut that railing. Check this post. This post is, almost perfectly plumb. But one of the things we notice is that this railing fits really nice here. But once we go up to the top of the post where it's going to go, you can see that it's a little bit too long. So we have to make some adjustments on that cut. That's because of this wall being out of plumb. Okay. Now, because this half newel is attached to a wall that's not exactly true, I can see that this side of the cut right here is fitting tight against the post, but there's a very, very slight gap on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this and correct that with my next cut. So to avoid confusion, I'm going to mark this with a 0, which means I'm not going to take anything off this side of my railing. And over here, I'm just going to take just a very small amount, maybe a 32nd or so, and that should correct that issue. Now you can see here, because we're below our reveal line, that railing is slightly too long. Now you can also see that there's a bit of a gap at the bottom of the cut. I am not going to adjust my angle. One of the things you can do is you can chase your tail a lot by trimming too much at a time, and your angles could be exact as they are in this case, but your railing's too long, so both of the angles are going to appear like they're not fitting, when in fact it's probably exactly right, just the railing is too long. All right, so I've made a bit of an adjustment on that angle to correct that top cut, and I'm just going to clean it up right now. There. All right, so here's a tip that I've learned the hard way from, is if you change the angle on this way on the saw to correct a cut, make sure you bring it back to 0, because you can often cut your next railing without checking that and it'll be off. There we are. Right, so I've moved my saw back to 0, as you saw. Now the railing just needs to be shortened by a little less than a 1/16, and it should fit really well. All right, so I made one more cut off camera. I've got the angles fitting really nice between the posts. I could potentially take another 32nd off, but there's a real fine line between cutting too much and making it worse. One of the things I wanted to mention to you is often I will just use a regular 2x4 to do a mock-up before I start cutting into a really expensive railing, and for obvious reasons. This one here, we kind of felt that this post was pretty square and plumb, so we didn't worry about it too much. But if you're doing a big long railing, by all means, waste a $5 2x4 instead of a $125 piece of railing, and then copy that. So I've actually forgot to make a pilot hole here for the top of the railing where I'm going to install the angled Slipfix. So what I'm going to do is just mark here and here, make a straight line over to the edge of my railing, and then mark down like so. And then I will attempt to put a pilot hole in there and correct that mistake. So a couple things I wanted to cover here. I got this fitting ready at the top for the top of the railing with the angled Slipfix. I'm not sponsored by Zipbolt. I just use them because they work. There's no advantage for me if you use Zipbolts. They just work. But the one thing I did do is I reached out to Zipbolt in Australia and I asked them about product failures. And what they told me is that the only time they've had product failures is basically because of people doing things wrong. So read the instructions. The key thing is that this gear housing has to slide over top of the bolt like so. If you put it in backwards, then you may have problems. It's not going to work the right way. So that's what that's meant for. The other thing is, especially for the railing fittings, don't use an impact driver. I will confess I have in the past and it worked out fine. Use a regular drill because you can overload the pressure with an impact driver and break the gear housing. So we'll just slide that in. I'll slip that over like so that it catches onto the bolt. And if you can see in there, we've got it started. So that should work. All right, so we've got the angled Slipfix rail bolt system connected at the top at the half newel. I wanted to do that first because I find sometimes it slides or it doesn't land exactly where we want it. So we've got it right on the reveal. Now we've marked the bottom of the railing here, and I will take this railing off and we'll install the angled rail bolt system into this end of the railing. So I've marked the center of this 3/8 hole, and I've drawn a line up square to the railing to here, and I'm going to mark back 2.5 inches for the center of my 1-inch hole. This is a way to double check to make sure you've got it laid out properly. If you lay the shank of that rail bolt there like so, you can see if we drill a 1-inch hole, that will catch those threads well within that 1-inch hole. That's how you know you've got it laid out properly. Good way to double check. So one of the things you'll notice is that we have the fillet in the groove, and there's a reason for that. First of all, the Forstner bit has to have a place where it can index, but also what I do is I save the pieces of fillet after and mark them so that I have the exact arch cut on that piece of fillet, and it'll fit nice when we go to plug the bottom of the railing. So now I'm just going to drill this hole with a 1-inch Forstner bit. Okay, so that's looking good. One of the things you got to watch, especially with these grooved rails, if you punch that 1-inch Forstner bit too far, you can actually come out on that groove. So just be careful of that. That's happened to me in the past. Dimensions from the bottom of the rail to the center of the 3/8 hole is 3 3/16. So we're going to mark our post at 3 3/16 down from our reveal mark. Now I'm going to drill a 1/4-inch hole into my post, at least this long, and I need to leave 2 7/8 protruding on this bolt. And when I drill the hole, I'm actually going to ream it a little bigger than 1/4 inch because we're dealing with hardwood here. And then I'll show you how I crank it in. I put a little wax on the threads, and I use a stainless steel hollow rod to help me crank this bolt into the post. Now this is one of the things that can happen. We were using that stainless steel rod to crank this fitting in, and I didn't have the hole reamed out enough, and this fitting failed. So you can see that that's bent. Now it's right about at this stage where things went south. First you saw how we bent one of the fittings and had to ream it out a little bit more. But we went to dry fit this railing, and we discovered that the two fittings weren't aligning with each other, and hence we couldn't get the railing in properly. What had happened is this fitting looked like it went a little bit higher than we'd planned, and maybe by a 1/16th, and this fitting here went a little bit lower than it should have by maybe 3/16 or 1/4 of an inch. So what we did, and it was Alden's idea, to plug the hole with a chunk of oak and some glue, then cut it off and re-drill this fitting to put in a fresh one of these. And that time it worked. Slide her down a little more. Okay, I've got this started. There, that looks good. So the moral of the story is I would avoid myself using the angled rail bolt with a angled slip fix on the same piece of railing because it's a little tricky to line them both up, at least in my experience. I've used it 2 or 3 times and it doesn't work as slick as I'd like it. But if you're going to use it at one end, especially on a bottom rail or something where you can't get into it because there's a stair stringer there, then I would use the angled rail bolt, because then at the other end you can just put an ordinary screw and that fastener will do its job. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to show you that things don't always go as planned, and hopefully you learn from my mistakes. Every carpenter makes them. The only one that never made a mistake worked the tools 2,000 years ago. All the rest of us make mistakes and don't figure things out the right way every time. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them and I'll be sure and get back to you. If you haven't subscribed, do that now, and we'll see you on the next one.